Are you making money with your money? It seems like there's negative news about the economy every day, almost every hour, enough to make you think it'd be easier to just stuff your hard-earned savings under a mattress than do anything else with it. From biblical events like war and famine to the esoteric ebb and flow of inflation, making money with your money can seem more out of reach than ever. You might be asking questions like, are you losing your savings by keeping it in a checking account or cash? Is inflation good or bad? What's the difference between making money with your money via the stock market or a savings account? What are the benefits of investing? The risks? Don't worry, I've got the answers to all these questions and more. But before we get into all that, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update or a show. Now let's get into it. Does not doing anything with my money lose me money? The short answer is almost certainly yes. The reason is inflation. As Ray Dalio explains in his book Principles for Dealing with the Changing World Order, inflation's been around since the first Sumerians gave out money in the form of paper, backed by gold reserves they had in a vault. Basically, it's been around as long as currency and debt. It's as old as civilization. But what is inflation? Currency, or the paper bills in your wallet, acts like any other commodity. Its value depends on supply and demand. The more of it there is, the less value it has. Just think of air. It's literally everywhere. If it weren't, it would be hugely valuable since we all need it to survive. But since it is everywhere, it's free. On the flip side, we've got something like gold. There's not a lot of it, and it's hard to get more. So gold has a certain value because it's rare, hard to get, and we think it looks pretty. Inflation is an increase in the supply of currency so that it loses value next to whatever the demand is. It becomes more like air and less like gold. This takes the form of higher prices everywhere. It takes more of the same thing, your currency, to buy the same item. This means that if you got your savings parked under the mattress or in a checking account, it's losing value at the rate of inflation. These days, that's around 7 to 8% a year. So no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're not making money with your money, you're losing it. Or in the words of economic enthusiast Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems. How is inflation good? It's confusing, right? Pundits throwing around numbers and buzzwords, so much economics jargon that makes you throw up your hands and scream, "No one knows anything." Or maybe that was just me. Excuse me. Allow me to get down to the nitty-gritty and explain how a little teensy-weensy bit of inflation can be good. You've probably read that the Federal Reserve, the central bank in the US that controls the money supply, likes to keep inflation at around 2%. This is because they think a little bit of inflation, or increasing prices, keeps the economy growing. Just think about it. If prices keep going up, that means people need more work to make more money to buy more stuff. Hence, the economy grows because there's more activity. There's a second reason to like inflation, though. If you carry debt, it makes it easier to pay it back. Why is that? Well, if the currency is losing value but the amount you owe doesn't rise faster than that, then you can pay it back with cheaper dollars. So inflation can be good if you want to boost the economy and if you owe money at an interest rate that's lower than inflation. So how is inflation bad? First, it's bad for anyone who loans money, gets a fixed income, or wants to save money in cash. If you loan money, you're getting paid back less than you loan over time, unless you charge a higher interest rate. If you get a fixed income, that income buys less than it did yesterday. And if you want to save your money in cash, you're basically lighting some of it on fire every day. But it can be bad for the country as a whole too. You might have heard two terms bandied around recently: hyperinflation and stagflation. Here's what they mean. Hyperinflation is when inflation rises way too fast and the value of the currency tumbles off a cliff. Think Venezuela. The prices rise so quickly that the currency becomes worthless and no one can do anything with it. Activity grinds to a halt. This is obviously really bad. Stagflation occurs when there's inflation during a recession or a slower economy. Remember, a little inflation is supposed to boost the economy. So if it doesn't lead to that greater activity, it's only leading to higher prices that people have a hard time paying. This is also not good. Think the 1970s in America. So inflation is bad in a number of ways for a bunch of different people, but it's always bad for savers. If you're looking to save, you need some way to fight it. Why not use a savings account? There was a time in the mythic past of our economy when this strategy could work. These were the days when banks paid out a decent interest rate, visiting your neighbors unannounced wasn't weird, and a teenager would rather talk to you than be on their phone. Needless to say, those days are long gone. You'd be lucky to find a bank that pays a 1% interest rate, let alone the 7 to 8% you'd need now to fight inflation. What about the stock market? Investing your money in the stock market is one way to fight inflation. Yes, it can seem risky. Single companies can collapse, the market can go down for periods of time, and who knows what's going on with GameStop and the rest. Still, the stock market's historical returns as a whole beat inflation, even as high as it is today. What are the benefits? For starters, by investing in the stock market, you're positioning yourself to ride the growing American economy in the long run. This has been a winning bet for the last 100 years. But let's go deeper. Let's look at the S&P 500. This is an index that tracks the performance of the 500 largest companies in the US. It generated an average annual return of just over 10% with dividends reinvested from 1920 to 2020. To be clear, this is a long-term average. In some years, the S&P 500 had lower or even negative returns, but overall, for the long term, it's better than a savings account. Even adjusting for inflation, investments in an S&P 500 index fund have averaged over 6% returns from 1930 to June 2020. So if you're looking to invest for the long run, the stock market is a good start. Are there any drawbacks? As with anything, there are risks. Stock market prices grow and recede, and any given year can be a losing one. If you play individual stocks, the potential gains go up along with the risks. A company can go out of business or miss expectations, leading to a short or long-term loss. But with that in mind, investing in stocks is a great alternative to a savings account if you're looking to save, especially in this environment. In conclusion, so that's inflation, saving, and the stock market for you. In short, inflation is bad if you're looking to save. Having a savings account isn't a good way to fight it if the interest rate is too low, and the stock market offers a great method for the long term. We hope you found this video useful as well as entertaining, and that you'll smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update or a show. Thanks, guys.